Welcome back to Healthier Daily. Let me start with a number that should get everyone's attention: 3%. According to the latest research, that's how much muscle mass the average person over 60 can lose every single year. This loss often shows up first in the legs: stiffness in the morning, trouble climbing stairs, or that unsteady feeling after sitting for too long. But what if I told you that you could start to reverse that process, to feel a tangible difference in just 12 hours with one specific type of food? To explain this remarkable science, we are deeply honored to have Japan's oldest practicing physician, Dr. Shigaki Hinohara, with us. At over 100 years old, he is a living icon of vitality and a testament to the body's resilience. Doctor, is it truly possible to feel a difference in our legs that quickly?
Thank you, Dr. Carter. It is possible, but we must be very clear and honest about what this means. We are not speaking of building new muscle overnight like a young bodybuilder. That is a slow process that takes many weeks of consistent effort. The 12-hour difference that I speak of is about something more immediate and just as important. It is about reawakening the muscles you already have. The foundation of this reawakening is circulation. As we age, the small blood vessels in our legs can become less efficient. The blood moves more slowly, and therefore the muscles do not receive enough oxygen and nutrients. This is what causes that heavy, sluggish, weak feeling. It is not always that the muscle itself is gone. Sometimes it is simply asleep because it is undernourished and waiting for a signal. The right food can send that signal.
Reawakening the muscles by improving circulation. That's a completely new way for most people to think about regaining strength. If you have been feeling that heaviness in your legs and want to learn how to send that powerful, reawakening signal to your body, please type a 1 in the comments below. And be sure to follow our channel to join our community, where we share these life-changing health strategies completely for free. Dr. Hinohara, in our introduction, you made a powerful promise that it's possible to feel a difference in our legs in as little as 12 hours by awakening the muscles. Before we reveal the specific foods that send that signal, I think it's crucial for our audience to understand what's causing the problem in the first place. From your perspective, what is the number one enemy of healthy circulation and strength in the legs after 60?
That is the right place to begin. The number one enemy is stiffness. But I do not just mean stiffness in the joints that you can feel. I am speaking of a deeper stiffness deep inside the blood vessels themselves. I ask my patients to imagine their legs as a farmer's beautiful, fertile field, and the thousands of blood vessels are the small irrigation channels that bring life-giving water and nutrients to the crops, which are your muscles. As we age, due to diet and lack of a certain kind of movement, these channels can become narrow, stiff, and sometimes clogged with inflammatory debris. When the water cannot flow freely and deeply into the soil, the crops, your muscles, begin to wither. They are not receiving the oxygen and nutrients they need to be strong. This is the source of that heavy, sluggish, and weak feeling in the legs.
What you so clearly describe as stiff, clogged channels is what we in Western medicine call endothelial dysfunction. The endothelium is that delicate, intelligent inner skin lining all of our blood vessels. Its main job is to produce a critical molecule called nitric oxide, or NO. Nitric oxide is the signal that tells our blood vessels to relax, widen, and allow blood to flow freely. As we age, and especially with a diet high in processed foods, the endothelium gets damaged and produces less nitric oxide. This causes the vessels to constrict and become stiff. The result is poor circulation, especially to the furthest parts of the body, like the lower legs and feet. This is why people often experience cold feet, painful leg cramps, and that heavy leaden feeling. Their muscles are literally suffocating at a microscopic level due to this poor perfusion. This is enemy number one.
So the channels are clogged. But there is a second enemy. If poor circulation means the water cannot reach the field, then chronic inflammation is like trying to grow crops in soil that is full of thorns and poison.
A hostile environment at the cellular level. How does this inflammation specifically affect leg strength?
Inflammation creates a state of constant low-level pain and stiffness. It makes movement uncomfortable, but more deeply, it sends a continuous danger signal to the body. It tells the muscle workers, the cells responsible for repair, that it is not safe to rebuild. The body is in a state of high alert and defense, not a state of growth and repair. Many seniors feel this as a constant vague ache in their thighs or calves that never seems to go away no matter how much they rest.
Exactly. And we can measure this hostile environment with simple blood tests that look for inflammatory markers, the most common one being C-reactive protein, or CRP. High levels of CRP are directly and scientifically linked to the loss of muscle mass and strength in seniors. A 2024 meta-analysis published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society confirmed that elevated CRP is strongly associated with accelerated muscle loss. The reason is that these inflammatory molecules, called cytokines, actually promote muscle catabolism, which is the breakdown of muscle tissue. They also interfere with the anabolic or building signals from protein. So inflammation is a double-edged sword. It is actively telling your body to break down muscle while also making it too painful and stiff to use it.
A very dangerous combination. The channels are clogged and the soil is full of thorns.
Precisely. What is the third enemy? Is it related to the energy supply itself?
Yes, the final enemy is what I call inconsistent rain. It is an unstable fuel source for the muscles. Your muscles run on a stored form of sugar called glycogen. To be strong and reliable, they need to know they have a steady supply of energy. But many modern diets, which are very high in refined carbohydrates and sugars, create a pattern of flood and drought. You eat a sweet food, and there is a flood of sugar. But then, an hour later, there is a crash, a drought. The muscles do not know when their next reliable source of energy will come. They cannot perform with confidence and strength when their fuel supply is so chaotic.
This is directly tied to the problem of insulin resistance, a condition that is incredibly common after the age of 60. When muscle cells become resistant to the effects of insulin, they have great difficulty pulling glucose from the blood to replenish their precious glycogen stores. So even if you eat carbohydrates, the fuel may not be getting into the muscle cells efficiently. This leaves the muscles in a chronic low-energy state. It's why a simple activity like walking up a single flight of stairs can leave an older person feeling surprisingly weak and out of breath. Their muscles have run out of available fuel. So when you put all three enemies together, poor circulation delivering fewer nutrients, chronic inflammation actively breaking down muscle tissue, and unstable fuel leaving the muscles without energy, it is no wonder so many people experience a decline in leg strength. It truly is a perfect storm of systemic failure.
A perfect storm, yes. But it is a storm that can be calmed, and much faster than people believe. Once we understand these three enemies, we can choose the specific foods that directly fight them. Foods that open the irrigation channels. Foods that soothe the thorny soil. And foods that provide a gentle, steady rain. And this is where the 12-hour transformation can begin.
Dr. Hinohara, you've set the stage perfectly. We have these three enemies that are working against our legs after 60: poor circulation, chronic inflammation, and an unstable fuel supply. Our audience now understands the why behind that feeling of heaviness and weakness. So let's turn to the solution. You said there is one type of food that can start to make a difference in as little as 12 hours. What is it?
The food may surprise you because it is so ancient and so simple. It is not a pill or a modern invention. It is bone broth. But I must be very clear. I do not mean the thin, overly salty broths that come in a carton at the front of the supermarket. I am speaking of real, slow-simmered bone broth made from quality animal bones and connective tissue over many hours. This was the solution for my patient, Mr. Ota. He was a passionate hiker his entire life, a man who found his spirit in the mountains. But at 74, he had to stop. His legs, he told me, felt too heavy and unreliable. He was eating a very healthy, low-fat diet, but he was missing these deep, restorative nutrients. I asked him to try one simple thing, to drink one warm cup of a well-made bone broth every evening before bed. He was skeptical, but he called me 2 days later. He said, "Doctor, I do not understand it, but the heaviness is less. I walked to the post office today and my legs felt lighter." That is the 12-hour effect. It is not that his muscles grew overnight. It is the feeling of lightness that comes when the irrigation channels, as we discussed, begin to open up and the thorny soil is soothed.
That feeling of lightness and reduced stiffness is not just a feeling, Dr. Hinohara. It's a biochemical reality. Properly made bone broth is a uniquely bioavailable source of collagen, and more specifically, the amino acids that make up collagen, like glycine and proline. These are the literal building blocks of our entire connective tissue system, our tendons, our ligaments, the cartilage that cushions our joints, and the fascia that surrounds and supports our muscles. When these tissues are nourished with their fundamental building blocks, joints can move more smoothly and with less pain. But glycine, in particular, is a superstar here. A 2023 systematic review in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition highlighted glycine's powerful anti-inflammatory properties throughout the body. Other studies have shown it can improve sleep quality by helping to lower core body temperature. Glycine is also a precursor to creatine, a compound that helps supply rapid energy to muscle cells. So with that 1 cup of broth, Mr. Ota was reducing inflammation, preparing his body for better sleep and recovery, and providing the direct raw materials for his joints and connective tissues. It's a trifecta of benefits that you can feel very quickly.
It is feeding the body on a very deep and ancient level.
It truly is. But this raises an important question. Many in our audience follow a plant-based or vegetarian diet. For those who do not consume animal products, is there an alternative that can provide a similar kind of rapid restorative effect?
A beautiful and very important question. The path is different, but the destination of healing is the same. For those who do not eat meat, the answer is real, traditionally fermented miso. Again, I do not mean the instant soup packets that are full of salt and MSG. I mean the aged miso paste that is a living food. Where bone broth works by directly rebuilding the physical structures, miso works by rebalancing the entire system. It works from the inside out, starting with the gut. It soothes the thorny soil of inflammation at its source.
This is a fascinating area of new research that scientists call the gut-muscle axis. We now have undeniable evidence that the health of our gut microbiome, the community of trillions of bacteria living in our intestines, directly influences muscle health throughout our body. A healthy gut reduces systemic inflammation. The living probiotics in real, unpasteurized fermented miso help to feed the good bacteria in your colon. These bacteria, in turn, produce powerful anti-inflammatory compounds called short-chain fatty acids, such as butyrate. These SCFAs are absorbed into your bloodstream and have been shown to reduce inflammation system-wide, which directly benefits your muscle tissue. So while you aren't consuming collagen, you are instructing your body to create its own internal anti-inflammatory medicine that soothes the soil, just as you said.
Yes, and the effect can also be felt quickly. A small bowl of warm miso soup in the evening with some added seaweed for minerals and perhaps a few cubes of soft tofu for gentle protein is not stimulating. It is deeply calming. It sends a message to the gut that says, "You are safe. You can heal tonight." Many of my patients who try this report less cramping, less bloating, and a feeling of greater stability and energy in their legs, sometimes by the very next day. It is not a rush of energy, but a return of steadiness. The feeling that you can stand longer or walk farther without that wobble.
Two powerful pathways to the same goal: reawakening the legs by improving the body's internal environment. It's incredible to see how both traditional wisdom and modern science are pointing to these same foundational solutions. This knowledge is truly for everyone, everywhere. To get a sense of our wonderful Healthier Daily community, please take a moment to type your city, state, or country in the comments below. It's a joy to see how far this conversation about healing is reaching. Dr. Hinahara, this has been a profound lesson. We started this conversation talking about rebuilding muscle. But what you've really taught us is that the first, most crucial step isn't about building at all. It's about changing the body's internal environment, improving circulation, calming inflammation, and providing the right nutrients so that the body can finally begin to heal and strengthen itself from the ground up.
That is the most important lesson. You cannot build a strong house on a cracked and burning foundation. You must first repair the foundation. You must soothe the soil and clear the irrigation channels. When the body feels safe, nourished, and free from a state of constant low-level alarm, its own deep intelligence takes over. The strength will naturally follow.
That idea of working with the body's own intelligence, rather than trying to force it, is a message so many people need to hear. Before we close, for everyone listening who feels inspired to begin this healing journey, what is the final valuable lesson you would like to share with them today?
In the West, I often see health framed as a battle. You must fight aging. You must combat disease. You attack your workout in the gym. This is the language of war, and war is very stressful and tiring for the body. In the East, we prefer the language of a gardener. You do not fight with your garden. You harmonize with it. You observe what it needs. More water here, less sun there, better soil, and you provide it with care. You are not forcing the plants to grow. You are creating the conditions in which they cannot help but grow strong and healthy. Your body after 60 is the same. Do not see your weak legs as an enemy to be conquered. See them as a part of your garden that is sending you a signal. The heaviness is a call for better circulation. The aches are a call for less inflammation. The fatigue is a call for better fuel. If you listen to these quiet requests and respond with these gentle, nourishing foods, you are not fighting a war. You are harmonizing, and in that harmony, true, lasting strength is born.
Harmonizing with the body, not fighting it, that is a beautiful and life-changing philosophy. Thank you, Dr. Hinahara. You've given us an accessible, science-backed way to begin restoring our leg strength. To our wonderful Healthier Daily community, We hope this gives you a new sense of hope and control over your well-being. As always, this information is for educational purposes and is not a substitute for personal medical advice. Please consult with your physician or registered dietitian before making significant changes to your diet, especially if you have food sensitivities or underlying health conditions. If you found this conversation valuable, please like this video and share it with a friend or family member who could benefit from this wisdom. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Taking these small, nourishing steps is a profound investment in your future leg strength and the key to maintaining a vibrant, independent life. For everyone watching, protecting your leg strength is protecting your freedom. In the comments below, please tell us, will you try the bone broth or the miso soup first? I'm Dr. Ben Carter. Nourish with intention, be well, and we'll see you next time.